Can we move on to look at the question of, no, we will not go back to issues, yeah. Can we move on to the question of energy, for example, which is such a big deal, and the president said to the effect that he has lived up to his promise to the House the last time he appeared. And what was the promise? The promise was that he will fix dumsor. Yes, so once again, if I may start with you, Nana, the president says this government has achieved the fastest mobilization of emergency power. And he's not just doing rhetoric. He tells you that about 800 megawatts of power has been added to our generation mix so far. He gives you the breakdown of the KTPP having added 220 megawatts. TICO's combined cycle has added 110 megawatts. Car Power has added 220 megawatts. Ameri is bringing on board 250 megawatts. And Asogli, is it? Yes, Asogli is supposed to give us 180 megawatts extra. That's the Asogli phase 2. Yes.
Something, one gentleman, Karim Ahmed Bidiako, just sent me information about the distance from Bole to Tamale. Now, apparently, it's over 200 kilometers. The energy matter.
Walk from my hometown to Kumasi.
Then they were still working until Mahama constructed a road last month. But this business about the energy, the president, you see, the biggest problem this government faces, and I really wish they can take this advice. The biggest problem they face is the propaganda. So you would do some effort, you achieve some progress. It's okay. But the way they try to take huge political advantage,
but
that's what brings
this is not some progress.
Let me show you how. So you've done summer work and brought in emergency power in 2015. And it has almost stabilized the power situation. You've done some work. But then look at them. We've done the fastest mobilization of emergency power. Nobody has seen it before, blah, blah,
True,
blah, blah.
fact.
But you see, then when you say that, the question is, if you knew that you can mobilize emergency power, why have you sat down for 3.5 years for Ghanaians to lose their jobs because of dumsor? For companies to shut down because of dumsor? For people to lose their lives because of dumsor? If you know you could mobilize emergency power. Because this is what the president told us in 2012, September. He said, government has taken immediate steps to address the load shedding challenge. I have directed an interministerial committee chaired by the Minister of Energy with immediate effect to engage the critical consumers of electricity, in particular health and water supply facilities and key private industry establishments, to implement measures that will ensure that the nation's strategic services and industry are not disrupted. While we are assured of the resumption of supply of gas from West Africa Gas Pipeline in the next few weeks, we will redouble our efforts to make up for the shortfall ourselves. We have galvanized every effort to increase our generating capacity in order to meet the minimum demand. By the end of October, and the gentleman was speaking in September 2012, he says, by the end of October, we will have an additional 300 megawatts of electricity production that will come online, and that should greatly solve the current situation. This is just the first one. All of them. Yeah, so I'm saying that when
I'm
you
going
try
to play the president shortly, what he had to say, but fast forward, Nana, let's stay in the present.
So I'm saying that, why have you sat down for 3.5 years for all these hardships and sufferings, including deaths, before you bring in emergency power? Why? If you are capable of mobilizing the fastest mobilization, then why have you sat down for 3.5 years? Because when you try to do the propaganda, this is the questions that you have to answer. That's the issue.
Okay, let's listen to the president briefly, because I'm interested in the facts he churns out, and if those are the facts, what is the problem of the MPP? Because like the president said, on electricity, 80 0.5% of Ghanaians now enjoy access to electricity. This is, if you compare this to what used to be the case, 58% access to power in 2008. Let's hear the president.
A year ago, I stood before this very august house and promised to fix the power sector deficit that at the time had become a significant constraint to the economic growth and had become a major disruption of the lives of Ghanaians, both at home and at work. Mr. Speaker, this was a time of considerable national anxiety. A huge deficit in power generation had resulted in prolonged power rationing. Mr. Speaker, I was painfully aware of the difficulties this situation was posing to Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians had to put up with long hours of darkness or spend money on expensive fuel to run their generators. Mr. Speaker, businesses faced serious disruption or saw their costs go up if they had to operate on generators. Mr. Speaker, on that occasion, I expressed my deep regret to the nation over the situation, and Mr. Speaker, I took full responsibility as President and leader of this nation and Commander-in-Chief. Mr. Speaker, I took full responsibility as Commander-in-Chief. It has not been easy. Mr. Speaker, it has been a year of hard work. Mr. Speaker, hard work that has made us achieve, Mr. Speaker, listen to this carefully. Hard work that has made us achieve the fastest mobilization of emergency power in the history of Ghana. Fast-tracking the finalization and commissioning of KTPP added 220 megawatts. Mr. Speaker, fast-tracking the commissioning of TICO's combined cycle added 110 megawatts. Mr. Speaker, mobilizing car power added another 220 megawatts. And Mr. Speaker, as I speak, Ameri is adding 250 megawatts extra power to our transmission grid.
Okay. That's the president. This show, once again, is brought to you by Bank of Africa, strong as a group and close as a partner, MTN. Welcome to the new world. Star Assurance, creating smiles since 1985 and celebrating 30 years of solid partnership. And just whilst we were watching the president, Kokubako pointed, drew our attention to something, that when you hear the president say, Mr. Speaker, please listen to this carefully, he was not instructing the speaker to listen to him, but as the protocol of the House demands, he was saying, Mr. Speaker, before he addressed the people in the House, that listen to me carefully. Nana, so the President's House has, shown us all of these.
Yeah.
He deserves some credit.
Well, I have said to you that all of us can see that the energy situation is fairly stabilized.
Right.
All of us can see it.
Right.
But when you go on the propaganda bench, that this is the fastest mobilization, it's as if no government has done it before. So that's where the problem